Hello friends, and welcome back to Keefe's Kitchen. This week, I'm still Polish. I'm not actually Polish. I think I'm like German, Irish, something like French, I don't know. But I'm still in Poland today because we're making Bigos. What is Bigos? Bigos is roughly translated as a hunter stew, Polish traditional hunter stew. It is one of the most beloved dishes in all of Poland. It is served at nearly every festival. It is one that I am willing to bet that every Polish child or somebody with Polish grandparents or Polish parents has heard of or has made and had. It's a stew, kind of a drier stew, not a whole lot of liquid. It's a stew with sauerkraut, cabbage, kielbasa, all sorts of meats and things. It was traditionally used to use up some scraps and venison and other things from hunters, so hence the name hunter stew. So, as such, there was no set recipe for this. So I'm gonna do some stuff that you may have never done in your Bigos, if you've ever made Bigos. And if you look this recipe up online, there's a bunch of different variations. Follow your heart, all right? As long as there's sauerkraut and cabbage and kielbasa and meat of some sort, you'll be good. So, without further ado, let's make some Bigos.
So the first thing we need to do is boil our sauerkraut. So in a pot, we're going to put 32 ounces or 4 cups of sauerkraut. This is Boar's Head brand. You can use jarred sauerkraut if you want, but just make sure to rinse it a couple times to get a lot of that vinegar flavor off. This one I can just put right in after draining the excess liquid. And then to that pot, we're going to add about 6 or 7 slices of chopped bacon. And we're going to boil this in a pot with 2 cups of water. Now, this will help to not only mellow out the flavor of the sauerkraut, but also to cook the bacon, get everything nice and tender in preparation and mix it for the Bigos. Into another pot, we're going to add cabbage. This is an entire cabbage that I have chopped up into small pieces, and you're going to add that right into your pot, and we're going to be boiling this for quite a while. And I also like to add in some mushroom. So this is dried chanterelle mushrooms. Traditionally, you would use porcini mushrooms, and I looked for those. Didn't have any at the supermarket, unfortunately, so I had to grab some dried chanterelles. But this is a ½ ounce of dried mushrooms, and you're going to cover this with water. So again, no specific amount, just enough to cover everything. And we'll give it a little stir and turn on the burner and just get it boiling. And we're going to boil both of these for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, you can see the cabbage has turned nice and translucent. The sauerkraut is cooked through the bacon as well. And so now I'm going to take these off of the heat, and we're going to drain the liquid out of our cabbage and mushroom mixture so that we can begin cooking the rest of our mixture. So again, we're going to strain the water out of this, and then we'll start cooking some onions. So in a pan, we're going to melt about 3 tablespoons of butter. Now, I forgot my knife. I had to go grab that. Well, you're going to just stick my fingers in and grab that butter. This is about 3 tablespoons into a pan over medium heat. And while that's melting, you can take that time to chop up your onion. So here I have 1 whole diced onion, and we're going to saute that in the butter for about 5 to 7 minutes. And I'm also going to add in 3 cloves of garlic that I've diced up. You don't have to use fresh garlic. You could use some garlic powder, but I just like the flavor that fresh garlic adds. So that's 3 cloves of garlic and 1 whole onion. We're going to saute that for about 5 to 7 minutes. Once it's done, nice and translucent, you can transfer it out of the pan into a bowl or onto a plate off to the side while we cook some meat. So in the same pan that we just cooked the onions and garlic, we're going to add another 3 tablespoons of butter. I know butter, lots of butter, but butter's great, okay? It's healthy for you in restricted quantities. But we're going to melt that down over medium heat, and we're going to put in 1 pound of pork. Now this is pork shoulder, I believe, but you can just pick up some pork loin if you'd like to use that, or just pork chops you can chop up. This is 1 pound, and we're going to brown it, so cook it over medium heat until it is browned on all sides. You don't have to cook it all the way through because we are going to be putting this into our pot later on to simmer. So once the pork is browned on all sides, you can take it off the heat. Make sure to turn the stove off, don't forget to do that, and place it on a plate, and then we will assemble the Bigos. So in the same pot that you boiled your cabbage and mushroom mixture, we're going to put all the ingredients to make the Bigos. So first, this is our sauerkraut and bacon, and we're going to put that right in there, and you are going to want to make sure that you include all the liquid. That'll add a lot of flavor, and it's pretty much the only liquid source for the stew, so you want to make sure that that's all in there. Next is the cabbage and mushroom mixture. Put that right on top. Next, we'll add the onion and garlic mixture. Then the pork. Then, something I haven't showed yet, kielbasa. So this is one whole kielbasa that I've cut up into rounds. And kielbasa is a traditional Polish sausage. You can get it from most supermarkets, and it's really, really great. And then this is a whole can of tomato paste with about 6 ounces. And this will add a really nice sweetness and a depth of flavor that is necessary for a dish with so much cabbage. And then this is just some liquid from deglazing the pan that I cooked the pork and the onion and garlic in. So stir this to incorporate, and then we're going to put a lid on top and cook this for about an hour over medium-low heat, and simmer it so all the flavors get a chance to combine and get friendly in that pot. So again, about medium-low heat for an hour, and we want the pot lid to be on and kind of off to the side so that some of the steam can escape. And after that hour, you can take that lid off, take a peek at your Bigos, and give it a little stir, and that's it. You're ready to serve. Now, traditionally, the Bigos is served with some nice brown bread on the side, and I did not have any brown bread, unfortunately. But, you know, you make do with what you got, which in this case is nothing. So I made do with nothing. Anyway, the Bigos is ready to eat.
Alright, so the Bigos is done. Now, I had to change my tasting location from my kitchen to my living room because I mistakenly started the dishwasher and I didn't feel like stopping it. So we're in here now, and you will notice that I have a Christmas tree up. Yes, it has been up since last Christmas. This is a no judgment zone. All right, that's all it needs to be said. So let's try this Bigos. Now, keep in mind that Bigos gets better with age. So the best Bigosi, I don't know, the best Bigos is typically several days old. So this will only get better with age. Let's try it out. I have some pork and a little bit of everything else, some juice. Let's taste it. Wow. Wow. So it's really, really sauerkrauty, but not in an overpowering way. This sauerkraut is not the vinegared sauerkraut. It's the kind you need to refrigerate. I don't, off the top of my head, recall the difference. I will put it in post somewhere in the recipe when I talk about it. But yeah, this is fantastic. I really, really like this. I think the one thing that I would add is a little bit of seasoning. Doesn't need a whole lot, and I didn't actually season it during the recipe, just because there's a lot of cabbage, there's a lot of sauerkraut, that bacon and everything that went in. I didn't want to add any seasoning and potentially over-season, because you really can't fix that, unfortunately. So I think this is great, and it makes sense to me why this is one of Poland's most beloved dishes. I think it's awesome, and I'm excited to make this again. There's another version, Bigos is just one of those things where you can throw a ton of stuff in it. There's really no set recipe. There's another version that has apples and some prunes in it, which sounds a little strange, but I think the sweetness with the meat and the sauerkraut and everything, I mean, it sounds awesome to me. So this is great. I'm gonna go and eat this entire bowl. I'm gonna make some bread and have that with this. And I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll make your own Bigos. No judgment if you don't. It's all right, you know, but I recommend it. This is great, and especially with fall coming on, I think you'll like it. So, thanks for watching Keefe's Kitchen, and I'll catch you next week with another recipe. Goodbye.